Hey, listen!
Welcome everyone, this is AndresRestart, and today we're talking about how Nintendo has confirmed that Tears of the Kingdom will not be at PAX. What's going on? Will there still be more information for Tears of the Kingdom coming soon? I think so, and that's what we're getting into today. But before we jump into things, I want to point out that we've had this subscriber goal to get to 25,000 by the time Tears of the Kingdom comes out May 12th. It still seems lofty, but you know, numbers have been going up a little bit, and if you enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit that notification bell because that might make this a reality. But let's now get into this situation. According to the Boston Herald, a Nintendo representative said The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will not be shown at PAX East 2023. And that's pretty clear cut. It's not going to be at PAX East. I'm going to be going to PAX, I will be attending PAX. I don't know what I'll be covering there, but I will be there. And I was hoping Tears of the Kingdom would be there, a lot of us did, because it made sense. It made sense because Nintendo has shown big games at PAX before, considering that there wasn't an E3 presentation for Tears of the Kingdom, considering that Tears of the Kingdom is coming out this May, it's their next big game. It seemed like this would be the proper venue to showcase Tears of the Kingdom in some way, yet that's not what's happening. And it does lead people to wonder, what is going on with Tears of the Kingdom? Why is Nintendo handling things in this way? This game is coming out in 8 weeks and 3 days as of this recording. We are extremely close to its actual release date, and that's exciting. This is going to be a huge game. Nintendo's pricing it at $70. Doug Bowser has said this is a deeply immersive full experience, which sounds amazing. This has had the longest gap between major Zeldas ever. It's building upon Breath of the Wild, one of the highest rated games ever, the highest rated game on Switch, the best-selling Zelda of all time by a significant margin. There's a lot of reason to think this is going to be an exciting, amazing game, and Nintendo is just being extremely quiet on it. And after thinking about it for a while, arguing about it for a while, last night on stream I think I came to some level of conclusion as to why they're being so quiet. And I think it ultimately just comes down to they don't want to spoil the game. They needed to push Breath of the Wild back during the Wii U era because 1, we had nothing else to be excited about, but also 2, they were launching Breath of the Wild with the Switch and they needed that to be a success, and it was. But with Tears of the Kingdom, given that it is a sequel, while you could argue they should talk about it more, showcase its differences more to get more people to buy it, it seems like the direction they're going in here is that they just don't want to spoil anything. They want to leave it up to be as much of a surprise as possible until they are ready to showcase the game. And I still think they have to showcase the game more. I still think that needs to happen because there are a lot of questions, and I think that time is coming. So some of those questions, for example, how does weapon durability work? Is the rain still going to cause us to slip all the time? Is climbing still going to be a big challenge in the same way? Will Zelda be playable or have more of a significant role? Will large-scale dungeons be returning? Will there be a lot of enemy variety? Will there be a master mode? Will there be DLC? These are all different things that people may have questions on that would be reasonable considering what we got with Breath of the Wild. And I do think most of these questions are going to be answered by the time the game comes out. I'm not going to spoil anything at all, so do not worry, but I am going to mention the art book leak. The art book leak contains some material that I think probably should be made publicly known by the time the game releases. The idea with the art book, it comes out with a collector's edition. This collector's edition is something you will get with Tears of the Kingdom, and you may look at the art book before actually playing the game. So they don't want to spoil the game with the art book. The kind of information the book has should be information that we should be prepared to see before the game comes out, I think. So with that in mind, I do think there's going to be something that happens where they showcase something significant for Tears of the Kingdom. Yes, we've gotten some voice acting, yes, we have the title, yes, we have a collector's edition, we have a release date, we have an amiibo. It's not like Nintendo hasn't done anything. They've kind of more done like the bare minimum, I would say. But it is maybe just enough. Of course, you see on social media, there seems to be a lot of frustration, a lot of people are confused. And Nintendo's just being more quiet with this game than they ever have been before with something so large. And on one hand, you could argue it could be impacting the game negatively, but on another, well, maybe it's just leading to more conversation. But regardless, I think that we have to get something soon. So when is that soon? Because it's not at PAX. Well, there's a couple things that I'm kind of expecting here, and before Nintendo announced their presence at PAX, I was thinking this. Now, when Nintendo announced their presence at PAX, I sort of changed my mind a little bit. I was like, okay, well, if there's a Tears of the Kingdom demo at PAX, then maybe they'll do things a little bit differently. But since that's not happening, my thinking is going back to what it was beforehand, and that is that there will be a Tears of the Kingdom OLED edition announced in March, and there will be a Zelda Direct in April. So let me elaborate here. With the OLED, they gave us one for Splatoon, they gave us one for Pokemon. Those were significant releases that were expected to be 10 plus million sellers, so they came out with a special OLED edition for them. Tears of the Kingdom is in the same boat. So for that reason, I expect there to be an OLED. Not to mention, we did have a leak of an OLED edition, and while there was some debate about it being real or not, I was back and forth for a little while. With the recent February Nintendo Direct and the Collector's Edition announced, there were symbols and promotional materials shown there that were a part of the OLED leak, basically confirming that it is real. Now, just because it's real doesn't mean it'll come to market. It could have been a prototype, maybe it'll look different, maybe it won't actually fully announced, maybe it was just an idea and they won't actually come out with it. Like, there are other possibilities here, so for sure take it with a grain of salt still, but it doesn't decrease the likelihood of it happening, it increases the likelihood of it happening, of us getting confirmation that there is actually some legitimacy to this OLED leak. So that, plus considering the history here, it does make sense for Nintendo to release a Tears of the Kingdom OLED. So then, when is that coming? Well, when we take a look at the OLED announcements for both Splatoon and Pokemon, they happened 9 and 10 weeks respectively before their game releases. And each system came out 2 weeks before the actual games released. So then, how are they going to handle Tears of the Kingdom? Because as I said at the beginning of the video, we are 8 weeks and 3 days away from the release for Tears of the Kingdom as of this recording on a Tuesday. So, does this mean it's not happening, or does this mean they're simply going to have a shorter announcement to release cycle? Well, looking at how quiet they've been about Tears of the Kingdom, how they've barely shown us information, how bigger comparable games from other companies are being shown a lot more, even being further out, like Final Fantasy 16 having a playable demo at PAX, even though it's coming out this summer, and Tears of the Kingdom is coming out beforehand and it doesn't. It's an interesting contrast there. I think basically Nintendo is just getting more and more comfortable with really short announcement to release windows. So, with that said, even though Splatoon and Pokemon had 9 and 10 week cycles, I'm thinking we may have an 8 to 6 week cycle here. Now, a few weeks ago, I predicted that they would be announcing a Tears of the Kingdom OLED on March 15th on a Wednesday, 8 weeks and 2 days before the release for Tears of the Kingdom. We'll see what happens tomorrow. If I'm right, awesome. If I'm not, well, I still think there's a couple weeks where they can reasonably announce it and it'll still be fine in terms of marketing that and it coming out in stores. But I do think we're looking at a scenario where the OLED doesn't come out 2 weeks before the game, but actually day and date. It comes out on the same day as Tears of the Kingdom. And I just think this because of how long we're waiting for this announcement, because of the shorter announcement to release cycle. That's what I'm sort of going with here. And while an OLED wouldn't tell us that much about the game necessarily, there are typically trailers here, and these trailers might just use footage we've already seen, but there's a possibility they might throw in a snippet or two we haven't seen before, which I think might be a great idea because it will then compel more people to watch the OLED trailer, analyze it, see some more footage, talk more about Tears of the Kingdom, market Tears of the Kingdom, but also make more people consider getting that Tears of the Kingdom OLED. So I have a hope that we get a Tears of the Kingdom OLED announcement within the next couple weeks, potentially tomorrow. We'll see. I'm not saying I'm gonna be right, I don't know. I'm simply basing that off of the history of the Splatoon and Pokemon OLED announcements, so we'll see on that one. But if that happens, then we'll have something. And then I think we'll be positioned to get a bigger Tears of the Kingdom announcement or series of announcements come early April. So another interesting thing to consider here is that they moved up the Mario movie by 2 days, from April 7th to April 5th. What difference does this make? I think what it does is that it gives people a couple more days to all watch the movie that weekend, opening up the very next week to have a Tears of the Kingdom Direct. So I am predicting that we have a Tears of the Kingdom Direct, let's say April 12th on a Wednesday, or at least in that window, so sometime between April 11th and 13th. The Directs fall between Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays, depending on the time of the year and the type of the Direct. But that's kind of the window I'm expecting here for a Tears of the Kingdom Direct. I do think we are going to get one based off what I mentioned earlier about the art book, and they're just simply being a need to give us a lot of information, especially because it doesn't look like they're going to give us a public demonstration for this game or a treehouse or anything like that. They may still, we'll see, I could be off here, but I do think there will be some level of Tears of the Kingdom information dropped by this time in the second full week of April, which gives them 4 weeks and a couple days before the release for Tears of the Kingdom, which lines up pretty much how they handled the major directs with Splatoon and Xenoblade. They are 4 and 5 weeks apart from the release of their game, so I think that's what we're kind of looking at here. Because of the Mario movie, they kind of have to be a little bit cautious about when it comes out, just to kind of not overlap each other too much with their marketing, but they'll still have 4 weeks and a couple days if they wait a week after the release for the Mario movie, and I think that's what they're going for here. Now, this is what they do. There is a little bit of a potential tragedy here because Advance Wars 1 to Reboot Camp comes out April 21st, which would be about a week and a half removed from this Tears of the Kingdom Direct. They can still market Advance Wars in between. They've been marketing Bayonetta Origins during this huge promotional cycle for the Mario movie, so marketing Advance Wars leading up to Tears of the Kingdom also may not be a total stretch either. And the fact of the matter is, Nintendo has more than one thing coming up per month when you consider it all, so there has to be overlap with these things. That's just how it's going to be. And that week and a half difference might give them some time to kind of give Advance Wars a little bit of a spotlight towards the later part of April, give us that Tears of the Kingdom Direct a week and a half beforehand, us get excited for about a week, and then the last few days before Advance Wars comes out, that week leading up to it, they really push hard for it, and then after that, they will just market Tears of the Kingdom completely at the very end of April, early May, leading up to its release, May 12th. Alongside, probably, a Tears of the Kingdom OLED. And I will mention here, just because I talked about it yesterday, I expect the Tears of the Kingdom OLED to come out, and if it does come out, I don't think this means there won't be a Nintendo Switch 2, but if there isn't a Tears of the Kingdom OLED, I think that means they canceled it, because we did see that leak, and I think that strengthens the possibility that a Switch 2 is coming out at the end of this year. But we'll see what actually happens. I'm simply mentioning it as a possibility that I'm keeping my eyes peeled for. Anyways, everyone, those are my thoughts on the matter. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.